Lithuania's crucial idea and impetus of the 20th century was the creation and consolidation of a national state. The value and dramatism of this ambition was conditioned by the fact that this objective had to be achieved on the intersection of Western and Eastern civilizations through mobilization of the strongly denationalized society for common action. Its transformation into a national civil society and efforts to reinforce it amounted to a revolution of the modern times, comparable by importance to that which uplifted the Grand Duchy of Lithuania in the old ages. As early as in the late 18th century, the old Lithuanian state, from a legal point of view, was buried. The Constitution of the 3rd of May 1791 defined both nations, the Crown of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, as a single and common and integrated republic, the Republic of Poland. In 1795, Russia, Prussia and Austria put both the legal and political final stop to the new Polish Republic as well, transferring its territories up to the Nemunas River, which were previously also called the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, to Russian rule. For as long as until the establishment of the national state in 1918, Lithuania was the northwestern region of the Russian Empire. The former Lithuanian nation of the times of the Grand Duchy disintegrated into culturally Polonized grandees, almost Polonized landed nobility, and not entirely Polonized agricultural community. Europe developed the current concept of the nation in the 19th century. In Lithuania, this meaning of the nation as the affinity of language, historic lifestyle and territory, although with a slight delay, yet with sufficient consistence, was intensively and efficiently disseminated and reinforced by Simonas Daukantas, Motiejus Valančius, Laurynas Ivinskis and other actors of the early rebirth period. A nation eager to live could not be non-free. This led to the bloodshedding revolts of 1831 and 1863. How deeply the former union-based political and cultural aspirations were ingrained into the consciousness of Lithuanian people is shown by the fact that there was even no reference to the Lithuanian independent state during these revolts. Meanwhile, autonomy according to the Grand Duchy tradition was somewhat more distinctly mentioned only in 1863. The entire 19th century was a time of cultural toil for Lithuania through gradual perception and identification of ways for national self-expression. The perceived need to distance the nation from Polish cultural impact frequently resulted in pro-Russian orientation, which also experienced adjustments due to the press ban.
Tik 20-ojo amžiaus pradžioje Europos didžiosioms galybėms stipriai nukraujavus Pirmajam pasauliniam kare.
It was not before the early 20th century, after Europe's great powers had shed a lot of blood in World War I, that Lithuanian society rose to address the issue of the restoration of the state once again. Like in the 19th century, it was highly heterogeneous, yet based on the stratum of better-off peasants, who were seeking to accumulate capital and, most importantly, had the ideology representing their interests, the ideology of a nation that was consolidated on the basis of ethnic affinity. They had accepted the unconditional alternative for the future that was formulated in the Aušra and Varpas national publications by the two thinkers of the late 19th century, Jonas Basanavičius and Vincas Kudirka. The national state, as they claimed, was the only instrument for implementing our interests. The young generation, including Antanas Smetona, was even more radical. The citizen of Lithuania is a Lithuanian, they said. We don't need Mickiewicz-type Lithuanians, Augustinas Valdemaras once declared. Polish radicals maintained similar views.
Laikosi ir Lenkų radikalai, atsakydami lietuvių siūlymą bendradarbiauti, ieškant dviejų valstybių bendrabūvio formulės, jie rėžė nigdai.
In response to Lithuanians' proposals to cooperate in search of the formula for the common existence of both states, they snapped nigdy, never. The occupation of Vilnius region, planned by Józef Pilsudski and implemented by Lucjan Żeligovski, is a legacy of union-based thinking, which views Lithuania as a part of Poland. It strongly affected the entire life of the Republic of Lithuania, greatly complicating Lithuania's international situation. It is one of the reasons why civil awareness in the times of the First Lithuanian Republic developed not so much in the flow of Lithuanian sentiment, that is, development of the authentic powers of the Lithuanian nation with support from the state, as of anti-Polish nationalism. The society did not feel comfortable enough with Lithuanian patriotism in the early years of the Republic. This is the only explanation to astonishing facts of the First Republic, such as the catastrophic defeats of the presidential nationalist parties in elections, which forced Smetona to initiate a coup d'état and to introduce a totalitarian regime as a cultish yet politically totally ineffective campaign to rescue Vilnius.
Autoritarinį režimą kaip kultinę, bet politiškai beveik neveiksmingą Vilniaus vadavimo akciją.
Nevertheless, the world had to admit it. On the 16th of February 1918, on the threshold between the East and the West, the nation of the state re-emerged, which once had tried to turn Central Europe into a civilization of tolerance. It was now determined to live alone, and it almost succeeded. During 1918 to 1940, Lithuania saw the emergence of people eager and able to build the state on the foundation of Lithuanian citizenship, that is, citizens who had disposed of the old historic influences and dependencies. This was the farming community developed after successful agricultural reform, the new military generation, and a substantial part of young people born in the years of the independence. All this compared to geopolitical revolution. The fact that the 2 decades of independence gave Lithuania its first generation of free citizens of the Lithuanian state is evidenced by the 3 European-scale phenomena in Lithuanian history. After the Soviet Union occupied Lithuania and reoccupied it in 1944, a wave of political emigrants who did not accept living under occupation moved to the West to create a rich deposit of Lithuanian culture in Western exile. The most nationally aware part of the urban and rural population, taken away to forced exile during all the years of deportations, preserved their national values so strongly as to remain the most faithful patriots of the country even to this date. Meanwhile, the guerrilla war, the so-called war after the war, was totally phenomenal in uniting patriotically aware poor peasants and farmers, military officers and intellectuals, and even clergymen. It managed to keep Lithuania's entire occupation regime under strain right until the death of the dictator of the Bolshevik Empire, Joseph Stalin.